Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Hey friends, welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. So we thank you guys for tuning in again, and we thank you guys if you're subscribing. If you haven't, please do so down below. Comment, let us know what you like, what you dislike, what we could do differently, all that. And just like our channel. So today we're going to do Luck of the Irish because it is March, so St. Patty's Day. But there's no background to it because it was a made for Disney movie. So it was released on March 9th of 2001. So, yeah. I remember watching this as a kid and liking it.
Yeah. I remember, like, you know, we'd flip through the channels and it would be on because it was a movie released on TV movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of the other Disney movies that I was into. And this one wasn't really one that kind of caught my attention, I guess, back then. Like, I liked Xenon and I can't remember all those other ones, but yeah, there was Disney, this time frame, Disney did a lot of Disney movies released on TV.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
and
them.
Most of them were really good, I thought. I mean, and this one was on its premiere, it was the highest rated Disney Channel movie ever. And it airs on Disney Channel every St. Patrick's Day. See, I never even paid attention to that to see if it is.
Yeah.
To catch it.
Yeah. Makes sense though.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And this one hopefully will be released the day before. So happy St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
And the Irish don't even celebrate St. Patty's Day. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they don't. So it's just an American thing that we do for some odd reason.
It's to celebrate and have fun and just an excuse.
Pretty much. That's what it is. Yeah. And I'm Irish. Like, I did the ancestry DNA test and it came back. I always thought it was German. And I'm mostly Irish. Well, and in this movie, because their heritage thing is coming up, and they're getting ready to talk about, like, the kids kind of present what their heritage is, and of course we get to see that at the end of the movie. But I kind of like that because the girl, her name's Bonnie, she's like in charge of it to make sure it all runs smoothly and get the kids up there on stage and stuff. And she says, like, we all come from somewhere, like, unless you're Native American, we're all immigrants. We all came. And I really like that. Like, this movie really kind of like lets you know that we didn't just show up on this land. We all came from different parts of the world. Kyle, he's got all this luck. He's always just so lucky all the time, and he gets the final shot to win the game to get them to go to the finals, and they're like, well, that's just luck, that sort of thing. Like, he can, like, one scene he's like shooting the basketball over his head into the net, and it's just luck. He's got all this luck. And well, and once, like, earlier in the movie, his mom's like, don't forget your lucky coin, and he has this coin that he wears around his neck, and his mom gave it to him when he was born, and so he just wears it because, like, he doesn't know any history behind it. And when he does ask his parents, like, where are we from, because he wants to do this heritage thing for school, and they're just like, we're from Cleveland, and they won't answer him, they won't tell him anything. And Bonnie, she's like hounding him. She's like, you have to know where you're from. Do you not know your parents' names, and do you know your mom's maiden name? Yeah, but so his parents won't tell him anything. He's kind of hunting things down, and he goes to this carnival type place where he's like looking around, and he's like, he kind of starts putting pieces together. He's like, well, maybe I'm Irish. And he picks up this book, and it kind of gives him the history on things. And he runs into this older man, and he's talking to him, and he pulls his shoe up, and underneath his shoe is a snake, which we get to figure out later on what that means. But I kind of took note of that. But then at one point he comes home, and his mom has an Irish accent just randomly, and she has her hair let down, and it's this real deep dark red color, and it's really curly. And he's like, Mom, you never wear your hair that way. And she's full-blown Irish accent and talking, and she's making bangers and mash, and she's making all this food for them. And then that same day, at the carnival, he runs into this guy, but then the next day is whenever he sees his mom at breakfast and she's making all the food, and he says it was the most unluckiest day of his life. And he starts having all this bad luck. So he's always picking up money off the ground. Well, that day he picked up money and he dropped it and it went down the drain. So there's just like all these things that happen to him. And he goes back home and his mom is getting more Irish. So she's getting shorter. And
I was going to say, she shrinks too, doesn't she?
Yeah. And so he himself is noticing, like his friend Russell, he's like, wait a minute, and I'm like a lot more taller than you. So he starts noticing he's shrinking. And then he finally notices that he's missing his coin, that the coin on his neck, because he's in science class and they're talking about what metals are attracted to magnets. And they test his coin and he's like, boy, this isn't real. It's not even attracting or whatever. And he's like, yes, it is. Well, he notices it's not his coin. And so then he's getting shorter and his hair starts turning red, his ears get pointy, and he's like randomly has that Irish accent. The weird thing was his ears are getting pointy and they don't even notice. I'm like, what is going on? Like, how do you not know? Like, they notice everything else, but not the pointy ears. Because he's turning into a leprechaun. That's what's happening. And he goes back to his mom, and she's like a foot tall. She's like super, super short. And she says, I'm a leprechaun. And they go into the coin missing. And I guess what it is that I guess the youngest leprechaun in the family is to have the coin, and it's the luck of the Irish to have this coin in your family. And if he doesn't have it, then the whole family starts turning into leprechauns, and they start trying to figure out who took it. Well, he's talking about this old man that he saw at that carnival at the fair or whatever, and they were like, did he have a snake on his shoe? And they were like, yeah. And they're like, oh, well, that's your grandfather. And so they think that the grandfather has stolen the coin. And they go to the chip factory where his grandpa started this chip business, and finally run into him there. And I don't know, I guess because his mom married an American, a non-leprechaun, and that's a big no-no. Yeah, and I guess there's different leprechaun families, because the guy that actually stole his coin, he's stolen other leprechaun coins, and he's trying to become like the king of leprechauns, which that is Seamus, what's his last name again?
McTiernan, yeah. And I guess McTiernans are known for for betting. They like to bet. Well, and because you said the mom and the dad or the grandfather haven't spoken because of her marrying the non-Irish.
Right. Yeah. And they have like this big falling out. Well, then they finally kind of let bygones be gone bygones, because they need the coin, because if they don't have the coin, they're all going to shrink down and turn into leprechauns. And the grandpa's not turning as fast as the mom, because he says, well, I'm old. It takes a while to change. And then I can't remember why he's taking long. Oh, he's taking longer to change because he's half leprechaun, because his dad is an American. Well, an American. And so, but yeah, they go through this whole thing. But like the thing with leprechauns is like the myth of them is known for is that there's a leprechaun at the end of the rainbow with a pot of gold. And if you catch a leprechaun, I guess by their beard, you get their pot of gold. Like if you catch them or something like that. So there's rain, and they're still fighting, and they're still arguing about trying to get this coin. And finally, Bonnie was like, y'all need to straighten up. Y'all need to work hard. That's what America was founded on. Like, she has this whole speech, which is really nice. And then the rain lets up, and then they see a rainbow. And the grandpa was like, well, let's go to the end of the rainbow. And I was like, I couldn't remember what had happened at that point. So the Russell, Kyle's friend, is like, what are, like, there's nothing, you'll never find the end. It's not, there's no science behind that. So anyway, they run and they get to it, and here it's Seamus, who stole the coin. His van is at the end of the rainbow. It was like there, where they, like, their end point. And so Russell's kind of like, huh, like, he's like, there really was a pot of gold at the end, because he stole all the coins from the other leprechaun families. So because he's trying to become king.
Yeah, he's not a good guy.
No. Well, and Seamus, they make a bet, because he caught Kyle's grandpa by his beard, and so now he's got him captured, and they make a bet to, if Kyle can win the games, then they get, everything goes back to normal, basically. And well, and he says, because Kyle, whenever they do these bets, they're tricky with their words, and I guess because Kyle said, if I win, if I beat you, then everything, I can get my coin back and all that, and my grandpa's free. And they didn't, they tied. And so he's like, well, no, because I still technically win because you didn't beat me. And then he finally made another bet and said, I bet you I can win without my luck. Because he had his coin at that point. And so everybody was kind of going back to normal, too. Like, the mom was back to normal size. The grandpa, well, he still had his beard. But even Kyle was starting to kind of go back to normal because he had his coin. But so they end up, like, they have magic too, because even the grandpa opens the safe that the coins are in with his magic. But I guess maybe Seamus, with having all those extra coins, maybe he has extra, because he was able to, like, snap them in and out of places.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, he moved them and he captured the grandfather. He put him up. Well, when they played the basketball game at the end. Yeah. Because at first, like you said, it was Irish games that they were playing. Yep.
And then, so they go to the basketball game, and it's a high school basketball game, and you got this adult man and some of his goons with him playing the game, and they brought it to the ref's attention. Like, isn't he too old to be playing? And the ref's just like, whatever. But they play. And of course, Kyle wins, and he gets to keep the coin. And the funny part is, at the end, is the bet is that Seamus would have to spend the rest of his life at the lakes of Erie, where his father is from, or something, like, he worded it that way.
The lake of his fathers, yeah.
Yes, the lake of his fathers. And he's like, oh, whatever, like, big deal if I have to go back to Ireland. And he's like, no, my dad's from Cleveland.
So he had to go to Lake Erie in Cleveland. Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, it's, like I said, I remember vaguely watching it as a kid, just flipping through the channels it'd be on, I'd turn it on. It never really caught my attention. Now, like, after, like, actually sitting down and watching it, it's okay. I like the message that it has, like, about your heritage.
I like the ending when they're saying this land is your land, this land is my land. I like that part.
I do too. I really liked it, and Bonnie comes out and sings it with him, and the crowd stands up and sings, and I do like that. Yeah, because, well, he can do the Irish jig. He's able to tap dance, which is so neat. Watching, they have a scene where they have some dancers out there doing that.
That's always been mesmerizing to me, the Irish jig.
Yeah.
Watching them do it, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I think it was a neat way to incorporate, like, leprechauns. I thought it was a fun way to do that, but it was still focused around Kyle and trying to get that coin and save his family so that they're not trapped as little people. The Luck of the Irish, we watched this one on Disney Plus. Let us know if you've seen it. Did you watch it as a kid? Did you watch it now? We'd love to hear from you. We thank you for joining in, watching with us, and let us know if there's anything else that you would like to see. Until next time, I'm Tiffany. This is my BFFF Shelly. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.